Have you seen the latest Dairy Milk ad by Cadbury? A very nostalgic ad which everyone is talking about how greatly they've empowered women and they promoted gender equality. But did you notice the small changes which happened in this video? If not, let's take a look at our in-depth analysis on this advertisement. So stay tuned and watch Body Language Classified. This video is not to criticize a great move made by Cadbury to promote gender equality in their particular ad, but this is a video about an in-depth analysis of body language of all the characters in this ad and how it can impact the emotions of their viewers. So stay tuned for our video and let's start. In this video, we're going to be analyzing two ads. One is from 90s and another one is which is launched just recently in 2021. When we look at any video, movies or any other advertisement from 90s, we see that during that time, the body language, the expressions of all the characters in these movies as well as actors were extremely loud and expressive. They had a very loud body language and they were very expressive in all the moves, all the scenes. But as we have progressed from that time, all the movies and ads have started to focus more on the subtleness, and all the signals in these ads have become more and more subtle. But being more subtle doesn't mean that we miss out on key details of human emotion and how can they feel and interact in a specific situation. So let's take a look at what are the finer details that Cadbury missed out on in this ad. Point 1. When we look at the beginning of this advertisement, we see the batsman. In the newer ad there's a girl and in the older ad there's a guy. Let's take a look at the older one first and then let's take at the newer one. When we look at the older ad, you can see on the screen that when we look at this particular person who is batting, we can see the stress on his face clearly visible by few things. First, when we see him rolling his tongue, that is the first sign when somebody is feeling stressed, they tend to touch themselves to calm themselves down. So he is touching his tongue around his face to calm himself down. We can also see that he is sweating, which is again one more sign of somebody being under stress, and also it is because of the heat. But there is also one more thing that is very evidently visible, is that he has knitted his eyebrows together. He is concentrating on where the ball is coming from and what he is supposed to do. The stress on his face is clearly visible by few of these signals. Now, these signals together is called a cluster. And when we see few signals saying the same thing, it increases the authenticity of that emotion. But when we take a look at another recent video, we look at the girl who is doing the batting. Now, when we look at this video, let's take a look at her face first. We only see her pursing his lips inside and there is no stress visible on her face. Now, as there is only one signal which states that she is feeling stressed, it loses the authenticity which could have been added into this particular scene to make it much more realistic so that audience can connect with the person and the stress they might be feeling during this shot. Let's take a look at this video in real time. How does it look like? Point number 2. It's all about the reaction of the audience. Now, when we look at the audience in the older ad, the moment there is a shot that has been taken by the batsman, they show a genuine reaction of surprise. Whereas, when we look at the audience in the newer ad, they just raise their glasses without any emotion on their face. Now, what is the difference and why does it matter? Because when we look at anyone who is showing a certain emotion, we feel the same emotion because of our mirror neurons. We mirror the emotion that we see in front of us. When we see the older ad, we can feel the emotion of surprise that the audience is feeling because of the great shot by the batsman. But when we look at the newer ad, genuine reaction or surprise by the audience is completely missing, and the audience in the background is not showing any reaction at all. So this can create a disconnect between the viewer and the ad which they want to convey. So let's take a look at the video how it looks like in real time. As when we look at this particular frame, both of the characters and both the actors are showing happiness because their loved one scored a really good shot. Now, when we look at this particular frame, then we understand that everyone shows expression and emotion in a completely different way. Not two people are not going to show their emotion in a very identical way, but there is a very big difference in how the happiness has been shown in the first advertisement, which was in from 90s, than compared to the ad which was shot recently. What is this difference? When we look at the previous ad, which was the older ad, let's just focus on the face of the female who is showing her happiness. When we look at her, we can see small wrinkling near her eyes, how quickly this particular happiness came on her face, and how quickly the smile and all the expressions and the behavior came on her body. Now, when we compared it to the newer advertisement, we see that in newer advertisement we see him expressing his happiness by raising his hand. But do we see any happiness, when he's smiling, any wrinkling near his eyes? No, right? But few seconds later, we see that happening over here. Now, what we want to highlight is that when somebody is genuinely feeling happy or when somebody is experiencing a certain emotion, it quickly comes on your face, and your body and your facial expressions are completely in sync. When we observe this particular advertisement, there is a delay in the happiness shown by the character in the recent ad, which can create a discomfort or disconnect in the audience's mind while watching this ad. Let's take a look at how it looks in real time. बात है हम सभी में, बात है. Point number 4. When we look at this particular point, we see that in this particular video, both the couples are hugging each other and having the Cadbury eye. But there is a very major difference between how they are hugging each other. When we look at the older ad from 90s, we see that the girl is laying her whole body on the man and allowing her majority of her body to come in contact with this person and being very comfortable and relaxed while having the dermal. But there is a very big difference when it comes to the recent one. Let's take a look. When we observe the recent advertisement, we see that the girl has raised her shoulders and pulled them to the front, creating a hollow space between her and the other actor. Now, this is a sign of discomfort, someone who is very uncomfortable in the situation and is shrinking her frame to stay away from the other person. We understand they're actors, but when two people are getting close, Cadbury wants to convey that it's happiness, joy, connection that is related with Cadbury brand. But when people are feeling stressed and uncomfortable on the screen with the Cadbury logo, it might not go in their favor. As we see this difference between both the couple, let's take a look at the video of these couples together.
Cadbury's Dairy Milk.
So what do we want to conclude from this? We want to conclude that whenever we are making any advertisement, it's completely driven for your audience, right? So whenever any kind of ads are made, we need to take in count the finer details of human behavior and body language into consideration. As when we look at especially this kind of an ad, which had a very strong nostalgic value in the people and this good warm feeling the Cadbury Dairy Milk provides us, we need to focus on, is the emotions which was there in the previous ad communicated in the newer ad, even though the actions have become more subtle, but even if it's subtle, we don't want to miss out on those special key emotional and body language signals. Now, again, we want to clarify that we are not criticizing the great move made by Cadbury Dairy Milk, but we are just focusing on the small details of body language which was missed out in the recreation of this iconic ad. So, that's all for today. If you want to observe more body language tips and tricks videos, you can follow our YouTube channel and stay tuned for more body language analysis. Did you enjoy our body language analysis? Do you want to know how body language can help you in your career? How body language can be useful at your workplace? So make sure you check out our body language courses down below in the description, and stay tuned for more body language analysis videos, and you can comment in the below what kind of body language analysis do you want to see next. Thank you so much. Tada, bye bye.